Thanks, Mark. BG surrenders the most points ever to a Kent State team. Final score here from Dick Stadium, 62-20. Defense was such a bright spot for these Falcons over last week, the week before. What happened? How did they break down today?
It was mental. The whole thing was mental. I think you heard Coach talk about it. You heard David Konowalski talk about it. It was all mental. It's everything that's happened to this team has all been mental mistakes. It's all been the results of bad practice habits that are continue out onto the field. What Coach says, but without saying it, is that there's probably some guys that are playing that haven't completely bought into the program that he's bringing. I think over the course of the next 6 weeks, you're going to see some guys start losing playing time as the year comes to an end. Right now we just don't have the horses in the stable to just replace guys. You can't put a whole new 22 out there. So you saw there was bad fits. There was communication miscues with the fast offense. And I mean, let's be real. You give some credit to Kent. Kent played a good game today. They came out and they executed that fast offense, but there were times where Bowling Green flat just wasn't lined up when the ball was snapped, and that can't happen. You got to be lined up and ready for the play, even if they are running a play a minute.
BG was coming into this game against the worst rush defense in the country. Kent State was dead last, yet 35 rushing yards at the half BG was able to put up. I mean, what wasn't working with the running back group?
It's not the running back group. I mean, as a running back, there's only so much you can do if there's no holes. The offensive line just flat isn't getting the job done. And I think the tough part about it is you've got running backs with talent. Devon Jones is a talented running back. Andrew Clare is a talented running back. Bryson Denley. Again, there's talent there. But if there's no holes, if there, you think about a good offensive line as a running back, you're not going to see your first contact till 3, 4, maybe 5 yards down the field. When you're having to dodge defensive linemen 2 yards deep in the backfield, it throws all the timing off. And so a lot of times it's an offensive lineman getting beat across his face or stepping with the wrong foot and getting beat across his face, or just not being quick enough to deal with the defensive line that's the diamond that's in front of him. And when that happens, there's nothing that a running back can do. When you're looking at a team that I think it was 45 carries for 130 yards today, something like that. There's only so much a running back can do. I mean, Barry Sanders would have trouble, running behind this offensive line right now.
Yeah. Bowling Green has a bye week now. Next up, Notre Dame Fighting Irish in South Bend. What Coach said he's going to work on, one thing he wants to see this upcoming week is improvement. Going into their locker room, from what you've seen this season, what do they need to emphasize for this bye week?
Well, I think, again, they've got to find a way to emphasize offensive line play, because that's going to help the offense as a whole. It's going to give Andrew Clare some running lanes. It'll give some time to the quarterback. I heard the question asked at the press conference about who's the quarterback next year, and Coach wouldn't address it. Next week, should I say, and Coach wouldn't address it. Grant Lloyd looked good. That first touchdown drive that he led, he actually was against Kent State's one defense. The second touchdown was against the twos, but so there's some questions there. I don't think that they make the change. I don't think they did, because I think there was some mistakes that Grant made when he was on the field that's not going to necessitate a change. But I do maybe think we see maybe a little more Grant Lloyd. You got 2 weeks to get 2 weeks to get ready for it. But I think more than anything, it's the mental mistakes. It's the bad reads. It's the bad fits. It's the jumping off sides, those types of things, those are all mental mistakes, and those are all things to be corrected. But you've heard Coach talk. You heard him say, Tuesday we had a good practice. Wednesday, not so good. You're 4 weeks into the season at this point. There is no such thing as a bad Wednesday practice. And then a bad Thursday practice is unheard of. So there's a lot of things that are up here that those guys are going to have to clean up in order for this to work, Danny.
Yeah. Bowling Green trying to figure something out before they go to Notre Dame October 5th at South Bend. And it'll be an interesting place, first off, for these players, but a lot of the coaching staff on BG is familiar. Coach Loeffler has played at Notre Dame against Notre Dame. Coach Van Gorder has coached at Notre Dame. Do you think that's going to give them, the players, a little sense of relief, knowing how familiar their coaches are with an atmosphere and a team like that?
No, it won't. It'll give the coaches some familiarity, and it'll allow the coaches to prepare them for things that they may see. But once you get in between the lines, their coach's experience has nothing to do. Now, a guy like David Konowalski, a 6th-year senior, a guy like Darius Wade, a 6th-year senior, those guys have played in the biggest of houses. So Notre Dame is not going to be an intimidation factor for them. But there's going to be some players that are going to walk out and they're going to be like, whoa, the Golden Dome. And you've got to make sure that comes to a close as quickly as possible. There's no intimidation playing in those places. It's more excitement because you feel like I could have played here. I know we played at the Big House during my career, and I was like, I'm not impressed. I'm ready to go play. And that's the attitude they got to have. But, forget playing there. Let's go there and win. And I think that's the attitude that we had during my career. Having gone through a coaching change during my career, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do. So you might as well either buy in or you get left behind. And I think that's what's going to happen is over the course of the next 8 weeks, there's going to be some guys that are going to be left behind.
Yeah. All right, there it is. After a beatdown by Kent State Bowling Green, they got a bye week to figure something out before they head to Notre Dame. Mark, we'll send it back to you.